It's time for another hiking adventure, and this one has been on my list for a very long time. It's the Kennet Avon Canal, which is 87 miles long and it runs from Bristol to Reading. The route that I plan to hike is longer at 105 miles, as I'll be starting in the little village of Pill just outside Bristol. I'm then going to follow the River Avon to the start point of the canal in Bristol and then follow the canal all the way to Reading. I have everything on my back, including my tent, and I plan to wild camp every night. I'm really looking forward to exploring the Kennet Avon Canal and being immersed in nature for the next 4 days. This is going to be a lot of fun. I'm not sure how easy it is to wild camp on the canal. I know it's a lot of farmers' fields and yeah, I think it might be a bit difficult to find places to camp, but that's all part of the adventure. I'm going to have fun trying and see how easy it is to wild camp on the canal. It wasn't too long until I arrived at the famous Clifton Suspension Bridge, which was built in 1864, and it looked incredible in the sunshine. I'd driven over this bridge in the past, but I'd never hiked underneath it, and I'll be doing just that today, which was pretty cool. I was now coming into the very urban Bristol, and I made my way to Bristol Harbour, the official start of the Kennet Avon Canal. This is when I spotted my first canal boat, and it was the first canal boat of hundreds that I'd see over the next 4 days of the canal. I enjoyed the sights and sounds of Bristol, but it was way too urban for me and very, very busy, and I was happy to get to a quieter part of the canal. Starting to get away from the urban section now. It's a beautiful day. It's not a cloud in the sky. After a quick stop at the pub to fill up my water bottles, it was back out into the sunshine and back onto the canal to make my way to the city of Bath. It's currently 6:15 now, and it's been beautiful these past few hours. Just been these beautiful meadows as far as the eye can see, and this glorious sunshine as well. Really peaceful hiking. So peaceful that I didn't even realise that I've now taken a wrong turn and walked half a mile the wrong way. So I'm now backtracking a little bit. I didn't realise that the trail went over a bridge and is on the other side of the river. It's coming up to 8:30 now, and I didn't plan it, but I'm coming into Bath, the Roman city of Bath now, and it's only 1 mile away, and I really didn't plan to get this far. I'm on 28.5 miles walked, so no idea where I'm wild camping. At this point, I left the River Avon and got onto the man-made part of the Kennet Avon Canal. I still had no idea where I was going to camp, but I carried on hiking into the evening, and luckily the moon was out so I could see where I was walking, and I finally found somewhere to put my tent. Finally found a place for the tent about 10:30 last night. Oh, yeah, it was a big day yesterday. I think I hiked 34 miles, and I'm definitely feeling the effects of those miles this morning. Oh. Well, it's time to get up. Sun's up. So with sore legs, I packed up my tent that I tucked next to the hedge, and on the other side of the hedge was the canal, and I set off on day 2. Now I'm on my way to Bristol and Avon. It's the next town that I get to. I'm going to be taking it very easy today. I don't think I'll be doing 30 miles again. My legs are feeling it, my feet are feeling it, and I feel exhausted today. And it was actually quite difficult to find somewhere to camp last night because I didn't really want to just stick my tent up on the path next to canal boats, so I was looking for a section of the canal where there wasn't really any canal boats, and then it's just this either side. It's very difficult to put your tent somewhere. I only found a little area just on a little footpath off of the canal, just tucked away. With 4 miles to go to Bradford and Avon, I found a little map that told me there was toilets close by, and there were. And they were open, which made life a little bit easier. It was such a peaceful morning along the canal with so much nature to see, so many swans and ducks, and they all had cygnets and chicks. And when I was hiking past one of the locks, I heard some chirping coming from inside, so I went to check it out, and there were 2 chicks and a mother stuck inside the lock, and the water was at halfway, and both of the gates were closed, so I went to find a boat owner to undo the sluices to let the water out, so we could then open up one of the gates and let the little chicks out. Oh, chicks got out, that's made me happy. Bless them, that's my good deed done for the today. The temperature was starting to get pretty hot, and luckily along the canal there was a lot of places to get water with a lot of pubs and little water points to fill up my water bottles. I now made it to Devizes and the famous Cairn Hill locks, which is 16 locks all in a row. And surprisingly, you think of a canal as being flat, but this part was definitely not flat. It was a continuous uphill section for about a mile as I passed the 16 famous locks. Unfortunately, the canal was quite quiet today with no canal boats heading down these locks, as it does take a whole complete day just to get a canal boat down this massive line of locks. And then I found a shop for a quick resupply, and then I continued on into the afternoon. Put the tent on the side of the rapeseed field. Don't normally like wild camping in farmers' fields, but I'm out of options really. It's really hard to put your tent on a canal, I'm learning, because there's loads of canal boats and lots of people around, so I don't really want to put my tent down where the canal boats are, and the canal is just behind me, behind this hedge. That's why I'm keeping my voice down. But this seems quiet. I'll go get in my tent, get cozy. It was actually quite cold last night. It's quite cold this morning, but I've just been snoozing. I had every intention to get up at like 5:30 and just start hiking, but it just didn't happen. It's just gone 7 o'clock now, so can't stay here all day. Get up, gotta pack up. Just so comfortable though. It's time to get going. I was very comfortable in my tent this morning. I did not want to get up and start hiking. Because of the last 2 big mileage days, my hips are a bit sore, my legs are a bit sore, and it's taken a little while to warm up this morning. But I'm off, I'm on the canal, I'm on 1 mile, and it's 8:30, so it's not too bad. Where I camped last night was next to the tiny little village of Allcannings, and as you can see, I've got a pretty big chunk of the canal complete now, and the next town I get to is Hungerford, where I think they've got a big supermarket like right next to the canal, so I can do a really good resupply. And this part of the canal is just so beautiful. It's really quiet. It's like very rural. I'm not really next to any towns or anything, so there's not really any canal boats around, or very few. And it's beautiful. Very, very peaceful hiking this morning. I love learning about the history of the canal, and it was created in 1810, and by the 1950s it was completely derelict, and then there was a big restoration project, and in 1990 it was opened again by the Queen and is now ours to enjoy, and that is definitely what I was doing on this trip. This is where things got a little bit interesting. The towpath was closed due to maintenance, and a canal boat was travelling past, and they said, "Do you want to jump on the top and we'll get you past this little closed section?" And instead of taking a 2-mile detour across the fields, I said, "Yeah, I'll jump on." As you can see, this part of the towpath was just completely inaccessible with maintenance works going on, so I was happy to take the short canal boat ride to get around this little section. Oh, that was fun. Something a little bit different. Lovely little experience, and they were really nice people, and they gave me a coffee, and I just sat for 20 minutes on top of the boat going through about three locks, I think it was. And it's nice to experience the canal on a boat, not just walking alongside it as well. So it's all part of the adventure, and I got a coffee and met some nice people. It's now 1:30, and I'm still about 6 miles away from Hungerford, from my next food supply. Still got an apple and a couple of chocolate peanuts and a couple of peanuts to eat. It was nice to find a decent supermarket and get a decent resupply. I got about a day's food on me now, so that should last to the end of the canal. I should be finishing about tomorrow lunchtime, so it's just gone 4 o'clock now, and I'm just going to plod into the afternoon, evening, and hopefully find somewhere nice to wild camp. I really want to put my tent like on the canal somewhere, but it's really difficult. I'm a bit nervous to put my tent just like plonk it on the canal, so I'm tempted just to walk quite late tonight when it gets, until it starts getting really dark, and then just put my tent up somewhere and then leave really early. But we'll see where we end up tonight. Beautiful evening. Look at that, absolutely beautiful. I got the tent up, and I really wanted to put my tent like right next to the canal, and I'm about a mile away from Newbury, and there's a lock that's broke about half a mile up here, so like it's really quiet section of the canal, which is nice. And there's no canal boats here, and I haven't seen anyone in the last hour or so walking past. It's just so peaceful here at the moment, and the door is really close to the canal. So I'll try not to fall in when I get in the tent. And there is a railway directly above me, but today there's a rail strike, so there's not really any trains going past. But I might get the odd freight train, and then early morning there might be some trains. But I'm planning to get up very early anyway, because I'm right on the canal here with the path. Only one freight train that went past last night, so it's quite quiet, which is good. But that freight train was so loud. It was only a few meters away from my head, so. But after that train, there was no more. And it's day 4, and hopefully the final day of my canal hike. And as you can see on the map, I'm about 1 mile away from the town of Newbury now. And then I continue on to Reading and the end of the Kennet Avon Canal. And I think it's about 19 or 20 miles away from where I am at the moment. So I should be there this afternoon, hopefully. It was lovely to hike through Newbury early morning. It meant it was just really quiet and peaceful. And then I got to the last lock of the man-made canal part of the Kennet Avon Canal, and I arrived at the River Kennet. Now I made it to the River Kennet, which is the 3rd section of the Kennet Avon Canal now. Beautiful. Found a nice little bench to have a break and some breakfast. And when I hike alone, I don't have a stove, I don't cold soak, I just buy food from the shops. It works for me. So the food I've got at the moment is one of my favourite foods. I've got some pita breads, cheese, bit of pepper and hummus. Got a few other bits, fruit and nut chocolate, and another pack of pita bread. That's pretty much all I got, which is plenty of food to get me to Reading today. It's 7:30 now, so I'm gonna chill here for about 20 minutes, have some breakfast, and I should get to Reading in the afternoon, I think. But I think it's still quite far. It's about 18 miles from where I am at the moment. The next 10 miles went very quickly as I enjoyed the sights and the sounds of the canal. I enjoy this kind of lifestyle so much. It's so simple, just getting up, hiking and being immersed in nature, that the only word I can think to describe it is peaceful. This section was incredible, with big open yellow meadows. There was birds chirping along every mile of this canal, and there was nature wherever I looked. Cool to see a sign for Reading. Just under 8 miles to go now, and then that'll be the end of my canal walk. Been a lovely 4 days. Just hear all the birds chirping and the dragonflies flying around. It's just beautiful. At this point it was getting quite warm, with the temperature in the high 20s. I managed to climb over a lock to find some shade for a little bit of a lay down. Then I had some food, a quick stretch, and I scrambled back to the other side of the canal to get the last few miles complete. As I hiked the final few miles into Reading, I reflected on my 4-day adventure, and I concluded that I will definitely be hiking more canals in the future. This was just amazing to be immersed in nature for 4 days. Incredible. made it, finally. Awesome. And this is the Kennet Avon Canal. And this is the River Thames here, where it joins. I've really enjoyed this canal hike, it's been a lot of fun, and if you've enjoyed watching this video, click the like button and consider subscribing to be notified of my future hikes. And I'll see you all on the next hike.